If you are in Calcutta and you witness these visuals, you know Durga Ma is coming. In just 4 days of the Navratra, what I experienced in Calcutta was unlike anything else. Some may compare the celebrations of Diwali in North India with those of Durga Puja in Bengal. But trust me, living in North India all my life, I can confirm that it's not even close. The level of religious devotion I saw around me, both shown explicitly and felt internally, amazed me. As I walked to the Ekdalya Evergreen Puja Pandal, one of the most famous in South Calcutta, I could barely move. My limb movements were restricted in an area less than a square foot. There was an immense amount of people, but it was worth noticing that hardly anyone pushed or rushed to reach the pandal first. At the end of the huge crowd stood this beautiful structure which had been decorated with precision. That's the idol, which was more or less the same at every pandal. Just outside the pandal stood these men, serving food to people. This was known as bhog, and it was provided free of cost to all. One pandal led to another, or sometimes even to a crossroad, with pandals on all of the remaining 3 sides. Crowds flocked the streets, roads, and even flyovers with no room left for vehicles. On relatively important roads, dedicated paths for pedestrians had been chalked out. It was interesting to notice that even with proper pedestrian provisions in most of the areas, the wide footpaths on either sides of the road were simply not enough for the crowds to move. These paths connected pandals which were in the same vicinity or at times a few kilometers from each other. For those who travelled long distances to get to the pandal cluster, buses functioned all night. These buses were absolutely packed, making it impossible for me, along with several others, to step inside. Many a times the exit to a pandal opened up to a fair with rides and toys for kids, jewelry and decorative goods for adults, and numerous food stalls for all. There was a large number of food stalls for popular joints which I had seen back in Gurgaon, but the advertisements and slogans for these companies were completely different. I had an idea about how big brands had language-specific advertisements, but I was really fascinated by how all advertisements revolved around the very specific theme of Durga Puja. This pointed towards the massive scale at which Durga Puja celebrations took place in Kolkata, as brands invested hundreds of crores of rupees in just 9 days worth of advertisement. According to TOI, the corporate spending in Kolkata's Puja amounts to rupees 500 to 800 crores. Coming to the economic aspect of these festivities, the Durga Puja market in Kolkata is worth rupees 15,000 crores. This makes more sense when one realizes that there are more than 10,000 pandals in an area less than 9,000 square kilometers. Each puja at an average employs 25 to 30 people. For those who feel so much money is being wasted on art, decor and celebrations, it is pertinent to point out that this money does not go down the drain. It goes into the households of labourers, craftsmen, sustaining the lives of nearly 4 lakh people for over 6 months. All this kept aside, what intrigued me the most was the idea of so many people putting in so much time, effort, and money into worshipping something that has no proof of existence. I know this points towards a larger debate, but even with what I witnessed in these 4 days, this was one question which interested me the most. To me, the faith that people place in God and the efforts that go into pleasing God are bizarre. It sounds unreasonable and impractical. But why then does the majority of the world's population follow a religion or worship God regularly? This is what fascinates me, and this is what I plan on exploring through my travels. Stay tuned.